Remember how I said in my last Zero Education video that I would be putting MysticalForest under the microscope? Well, he had to go and release the following little gem from his facial anus, thus ruining all the work I had already put into compiling some of his biggest hits from previous videos. Despite the wasted effort in the video I was working on to deal with Nick's poor grades, I suppose I should give him some credit for putting out a video that has everything I was going to talk about, or almost all of it. Originally, I was just going to point out the videos where he uttered such stupidities, and I addressed them. But I think I'm going to change things up a bit and actually show you how ignorant and uneducated Nick really is.
Hello, great Americans out there. I want to expose a moron.
No, I'm not even going to touch that one. I'm sure everyone who's watching this video is thinking the same thing I am right now.
A old man, I don't know, he's probably 52, 53, around that age, that his name is Joopy921, and the best thing he can do is come up with past video clips of mine to talk about how I don't know anything about evolution.
Here's the thing, Nick. You don't know anything about evolution, and you've admitted to not wanting to know. As for Joopy921's videos, this is what everyone's been doing to show you your willful ignorance. I've actually watched Joopy's vids and subbed him because he makes damn good videos, and I could tell he's quite knowledgeable in biology and chemistry. He really could be a biologist in real life. You, on the other hand, would have a hard time passing as a high school dropout.
First off, evolution, it doesn't really matter how much you know about evolution because evolution is a lie. That's right, bud. All that crap you talk about Lucy and the fossil record, it's all bullcrap. There is no evidence of evolution whatsoever, none.
Evolution is a lie, huh? Why don't you just come out and say it, Nick? This is the proof you're looking for, isn't it?
None. You guys can't find one skeletal remain of a link that would even suggest that we're related, that we are a common ancestor of the ape. Not one. Or of any other animal. Isn't that weird?
Nick. We have found those fossils, and these are just a few of them. Tiktaalik, Tolipperton, Dimetrodon, Thrinaxodon, Archaeopteryx, Amulocetus, Aetocetus, and the list goes on. I could be here all day listing off transitional fossils, but unless I can find a fossilized crocoduck, you're not going to buy it, are you?
And if you suggest that we've been here for millions of years, why is it in the last 3,000 years we went from writing in stone to writing on paper and having lasers and having flight technology?
Because we share ideas and inventions that benefit society as a whole, which has been around for much longer than it says in the Bible. Humanity has been developing technology much earlier than 3,000 years ago. And keep in mind that just because it doesn't stream live video or play MP3s, doesn't mean it isn't technology. The earliest stone tools date back to 9500 BCE, and that makes them over 11,500 years old. Fuck, we've been making pottery since 6500 BCE, even though James Ussher, the Archbishop of Armagh, dated the creation of the earth at around 4004 BCE. Incidentally, I laughed my ass off at one of James's other titles, Primate of all Ireland.
So you don't know if there's a flood. You don't know if there's a meteor. You don't know if dinosaurs farted too much and died from that. Because that is one of the little theories of your evolutionist scientists that came up with.
Dinosaurs farted themselves to death. I have heard some stupid shit before, but that one takes the cake. I did some research on this, and all I could come up with was a possible reason for the Permian extinction, which occurred 251.4 million years ago. What Nick is fumbling to explain is a concept called the Clathrate Gun Hypothesis. Links are in the sidebar.
But it's just funny how you're a biologist, and you can't use your common sense to figure that one out. You're not wise either. So there are people that are middle-aged and in their 50s that don't have wisdom like you. And it's sad that someone in my age, someone that should be immature, has more wisdom than you. GB921.
Holy shit, did I just hear that right? I was also under the impression that wisdom was a combination of knowledge, understanding, and good judgment, and none of which you've displayed since you've been on YouTube, Nick. Wisdom also requires experience, something Joopy has you beat in age alone. But he's also more than likely traveled outside of his state, read more than just the Bible and those Republican doorstops you call bestsellers.
Fact is, there's no evidence of evolution. None. None whatsoever. And you're never going to find it. Until you find an ape walking around that can pop out babies that are half human and half man. Until you can find an ape, which I know Bigfoot, right? Yeah, that's another thing you evolutionists have made up. To try to convince people that there are people that are halfway there. It's funny how the ape, the most primitive of all the apes that we know of, because there is no other skeletal remains of any other type of ape, more evolutionized ape, I should say.
Do I have to get R and Raw in here? Seriously, I'm gonna have to give you an F in basic biology, because you honestly have no fucking clue what speciation is, or that having a common ancestor with apes doesn't mean that some monkey gave birth to a human. Evolution doesn't work that way. As for the Bigfoot remark, that came from cryptozoology, not evolutionary biology. How the bloody fuck did you graduate high school anyway?
That's what it is. It's a lie. It's not even a theory. It's really pathetic. You just can't take the fact that there's a God. You can't take the fact because you're just a miserable, pathetic, childish, with no childish human being with no common sense.
Projecting much? Those sound a lot like some of your qualities. But you're either too ashamed to admit it or too dumb to realize it. Ironically enough, the description for this video is, "This moron needs to go back to school," which can only be another projection on your part. But apparently having an education applies to everyone but you. You can spew your disinformation with no accreditations whatsoever, but when someone with an actual degree challenges you, they lack the education to challenge your claims. I'm guessing you were a fan of Dr. Kent Hovind before he got carted off to jail, because the two of you apparently have the same level of education. Well, this looks like it's going to be a two-parter, which is just as well because I could probably use a stiff drink right about now. Stay tuned for part 2.